It's No Box Art Box time. Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. We are doing a sketchbox today. I will be getting to Karen Colors eventually. I'll get to that in a minute. First, we're going to see what's in the box. Today I am recreating the experience of SketchBox May 2022 edition. More details to come in a moment, but as you can see, we are dealing with gouache. We have watercolor paper that is round, and we have a multi-liner and a brush. So for those unfamiliar with Sketchbox, they do have two tiers, a basic tier and a premium tier. Normally, I try my best to replicate the premium tier, and overall I'm going for that, but I just did not have the colors to match the premium tier. So I'm matching the colors that the basic box got, and they only got 3. The premium tier does have 4. Just acknowledging that right now. Let's go ahead and get into the art here visually on screen, and I will explain myself. So, what is the No Box Art Box Challenge, you may be wondering? Well, it's a challenge that I introduced to YouTube back in 2018. The idea is that you recreate the experience of an art supply subscription box without actually getting it. And there are so many reasons to do this challenge. Maybe you sincerely can't afford subscription services right now, or you're already subscribed to Company A and you want to try out Company B, but you can't afford both. Maybe you're looking for some inspiration, you're trying to get through art block, you want to use that awkward supply at the back of your drawer that you don't ever actually go for, and you've seen a box that used it. Maybe, like me, when I started this challenge, you've just discovered art supply subscription boxes, you realized that you are late to the game, and there are several years of boxes that you've missed that you want to try. Or maybe you're in the situation I'm in right now, continuing this challenge even though I'm not consistently subscribed to any particular box because I have too many supplies and not enough cash. But I still love the boxes and I still want to do these challenges, so what's a girl to do, right? If you want to try the No Box Art Box Challenge, there are 3 simple steps. Step 1, pick any art or craft supply subscription box service out there, pick a month that already shipped, and look up the contents. Step 2, match the supplies in the box using items you already own. Do not go shopping specifically to fulfill a box, that would be cheating. The point is to use what you've already got on hand. You are allowed to use exact matches as long as you're not using this challenge to re-experience a box you actually got in the past. If that's the case, that is the one exception where you do absolutely have to use something different, the next closest match in your collection, if at all possible. Step 3, make art. Try to stick to only the items you've matched for the box, and if the original box had a prompt or a theme, try to stick to that as well. Only add missing essentials such as a pencil or a piece of paper. If you do try the No Box Art Box Challenge, go ahead and share anywhere on social media using the hashtag NoBoxArtBox so that we can all see it, share it, give you some compliments and encouragement. And if you do a YouTube video, feel free to let me know and send me a link so that I can add your video to the master playlist for this challenge. You don't have to do this particular box or any of the boxes that I have done in the past. You can do this challenge for absolutely any art or craft supply subscription box you can think of, any month that they have ever done. Or if you want to even twist this around and try to apply it to a different type of subscription service, that's cool too. Go for it. As with all of my art supply box videos, be they legitimate ones or these No Box Art Box recreations, I will have a whole bunch of numbers for you in the description box down below. What you're going to find there is the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price in US dollars, as it would appear on the menu card in the genuine box, but that will also be converted to Canadian dollars and pounds sterling. In addition to that, I will be looking up these supplies on major online retailers for all 3 currency regions so that we can try to get an idea of what these supplies would cost if you actually tried to buy them for yourself separately, and then we can compare the MSRP total of the box to that real-world researched price total for the box, and then we can go ahead and look at the value of the box versus what you paid for it depending on which country you live in and how long you've subscribed for. With Sketchbox, there are 2 tiers. The basic tier starts at $25 per month US, and it gets cheaper as you go along, prepaying for multiple months. Shipping is $5 in the US, $10 to Canada, and $15 everywhere else internationally. The premium box is $35 US per month and also gets cheaper. Typically what SketchBox does with the basic and the premium is that the two boxes will have a similar theme and they will often share some supplies, but the premium box, it's likely to have a couple of more items. More often than not, it's more likely to have higher quality items, higher end brands, different versions of the same thing that would actually cost a little bit more or maybe be harder to find. May 2022 is a gouache themed box. Both tiers got a Magnani Toscana round watercolor pad. The difference here is that the basic subscribers only had 10 sheets in their pad, but premium has 15. This is 300 GSM cold press cotton watercolor paper. I could not find the actual size of the paper, and I couldn't find an actual MSRP for the smaller one for the basic box because I can't find a photo of anybody's menu card for a basic box, and this is a custom size for SketchBox, so there was nowhere else to research it. So MSRP on the 15 sheets for the premium box was $13.99 US, and I've just estimated down that the basic box with 10 sheets probably have a value added of $9.99. Just an estimate, I could be wrong. In its place, since I definitely don't have a round pad, I have cut a few circles out of some B Paper Company watercolor paper. Obviously, I only need one for the purpose of this video. I'm only going to make one piece, but it took 3 tries to get a nice circle, and I'm probably going to want to play around with it a little bit. I'm not sure how to tape down and secure a round piece of paper. I'm gonna have to very carefully plan borders, aren't I? It's gonna be entertaining. You may already be watching that part, who knows? My custom cut circles are obviously bigger than what fits in a box. The dummy box you saw in the intro, that's actually an upgrade box. It's much wider and flatter than a sketch box. The sketch box is similar to the Art Snacks box, but like twice the size in every dimension. Next up is the actual gouache. Basic subscribers got 3 tubes of Savoir Faire watercolor gouache. These are 15 milliliter tubes. They have an MSRP of $1.90 US each, and they came in blue, sienna, and ochre. The premium tier box had 4 tubes of Holbein Artist Gouache, not to be confused with the Holbein Acrylic Gouache. This is the Holbein Artist Gouache, is the pure watercolor type gouache. These have an MSRP of $6 each US, so that adds a total of $24 to the box. Those were tiny little 5 milliliter tubes. You really aren't going to need all that much with such a high-end brand, but keep in mind that it is half the size of the Savoir Faire's. And the colors for that one was Myosotis Blue, Light Ochre, Peony, and Hummingbird Blue. And again, as I mentioned in the intro, I didn't recreate the 4 Holbeins because I don't have anywhere close to the right colors, so I am recreating the 3 Savoir Faire's. In place of those colors, I did have to cheat a little bit. I do have a yellow ochre in gouache, but it's gone weird and chunky, so like none of my colors are technically correct. In place of the blue, since it just plain says blue, it doesn't specify, I am using a primary blue. For the sienna, I am using burnt sienna, and in place of the light ochre, I am using Naples yellow. These are all Daler Rowney Simply gouache. This is their student line gouache. I've used both the Simply and the Aquafine, and I don't find that there's a whole lot of difference in the quality of the paints, but I do know that the Aquafine, the Step Up, the Professional, that stuff is light fast tested, and these are not. Both boxes got a custom SketchBox signature tri-wedge brush in size 8. That has an MSRP of $15, and I have nothing like that. I don't have a wedge brush, so I am using a Princeton Snap size 8 filbert. This is the Princeton Snap Gold Taklon. They also come in a white Taklon. Both boxes got an opaque white gouache to use in their paintings. The basic subscribers got the Caran d'Ache gouache in a 10 milliliter tube that has an MSRP of $4.50 US, and the premium customers got a nice little bottle, a 22 milliliter bottle of Liquitex acrylic gouache in titanium white. That has an MSRP of $6 $3.50. If it works, if it's not dead and dried out, I'm using my Copic Opaque White, which should be very similar to an acrylic gouache. This is 30 milliliters. In the event that it doesn't work, I will pull out my Daler Rowney Aquafine Gouache, the professional line, in titanium white. I have a 15 milliliter tube, but alternatively, I was also considering using my Daler Rowney FW Artist Acrylic ink in an opaque white. And last but not least, both tiers got a Copic multiliner pen size 3 in cobalt blue, and I happen to have that exact pen, so that's what I'll be using. That has an MSRP of $3.99 US. This is a really interesting combination. I've got to admit, I've never gone ahead and used colored pine liners with gouache before, but I also just really haven't done enough gouache. I bought my first set of gouache like 3 years ago, and I could probably count on the fingers on 2 hands the number of paintings I've actually done with them. I need to do more, for sure. So glancing at the numbers I've done now, I'm not going to actually just bore you with all of the numbers, but glancing at them, I'm seeing that everybody does save a little bit more in real world pricing compared to the MSRP, but not all that much for the American and UK subscribers. Canadian subscribers, though, you guys are saving way more if you buy it for yourself. And let's just take a look here. Why is that? What is so cheap? The reason for that is definitely the gouache prices. The gouache is so much cheaper at Canadian stores than the other stores comparatively when you convert MSRP. So just hot tip if you're Canadian and you want to try finding these things. Savoir Faire is really cheap if you're willing to get a set at Curry's. And the Holbein Artist Gouache, go over to Desirs and they've got an excellent deal for you. Looking at the calculations, what the box is worth versus what you're paying, the basic tier is only a good deal for American subscribers. You guys are coming out on top regardless of whether you're looking at MSRP or the real world researched price. Same goes for premium, but premium is actually a good deal for everybody. I'm not entirely sure why that one is such a good deal, but it is. The premium tier is always a better deal, but of course it just costs more in general, so bigger investment. Overall, with the legitimate supplies, I think that this is a very well curated box. I would actually, if they decide to sponsor me and send me this box, I would be very happy to try either tier, honestly. And actually, heads up, if you like these art boxes and you want to try to work with the company, SketchBox is actually looking for ambassadors right now, so go over to their website and fill out the application. If you got the May 2022 SketchBox for real, tell me which tier did you subscribe to and what do you think of the box? Are you happy with your tier, or are you looking to the other side of the fence and seeing that the grass is greener on the other side? If you have tried any of these brands separately outside of SketchBox, what did you think of them? Obviously, the only thing that I actually had to use here was the Copic multiliner. Everything else I have had to replicate in some way. So this would have been a worthwhile box for me just based on the fact that I don't have these items. It would actually have been a new experience. So I'm curious to hear from everybody else. What do you think of this box? What do you think of the piece I made? I don't know yet what I've done because I am recording the voiceover part way ahead of time. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm not sure if you're going to see the Karen colors next or if that will be next week, but that is coming sometime before the Art Addicts Lines video this month. I promise that much at least. If you're looking for more to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left side of the screen now. Don't forget to like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!